Hey guys, it's Tim and this is Pro Wrestling Unlimited as it's Friday, and that means, well, tonight was Friday Night Smackdown. Last night's Friday Night Smackdown overall was not bad. I wouldn't call it a great show or anything, but I would say the show was good. I would say it was good and that I enjoyed what I saw on tonight's show. But before we get into anything, before we talk about anything, we need to talk about the elephant in the room. And that are these dumb people on Twitter that don't understand what reporting is and how reporting works. You don't know how many messages I got in DMs. Oh, you were wrong. Brock was actually there. Well, first off, I'm not the one that broke the story. I'm not the one that said my sources told me, unlike the 2 or 3 other people that did. So coming at me saying I was wrong, well, you need to get your facts straight first. But also going at, who was it? Brian Alvarez, Sean Ross Sapp, and there may have been one other, but I didn't see who it was, all saying Brock left the building. You need to learn what changed your mind means. You need to learn what could have been convinced to come back means. Just because you see something happen one way doesn't mean something else didn't happen prior. Things got worked out, and then it ended up how it was supposed to kind of end up in the end, because y'all didn't know that Brock was actually supposed to be in multiple segments. Multiple segments of tonight's show. Not just last 5 minutes. So people need to learn before they start jumping and harping. Fake news, y'all are dumb, you idiots. I can say anything I want and people will believe me. You need proof. What proof do you want? A picture or video of Brock leaving, walking out the door? Because then if you give them that, these same stupid people are going to go, well, he's just getting some air. That's not proof. Like, come on. Come on. Brock did actually leave and then came back. It happens. People can leave and then come back. Just because it looks one way on television doesn't mean something else earlier in the day didn't happen. It baffles me that people don't think, that people don't realize. They see things one way, they got tunnel vision, and all they want to do is try to make others look wrong and look bad. And so they're just going to keep tweeting and keep tweeting and keep tweeting and making just themselves look stupid, making themselves look dumb. Trust me, I had somebody that literally I would say one thing and he'd respond with like 3 or 4 tweets that made no sense, just trying to make me look dumb when he was making himself look dumb in the end. But all I'm going to say is no one got swerved here. The dirt sheets got swerved. Not true. Brock did get mad. Brock did leave. But eventually cooler heads prevailed, and somehow they got Brock back. Somehow, in the form of either Brock calmed down himself and came back, or somebody either called or caught up with him and convinced him to come back. But it's not the dirt sheets got swerved. The dirt sheets got swerved. These stupid dirt sheet riders will do anything for clicks. No, that's not what it was at all. But other than that, SmackDown, I felt, was a pretty good show. I like SmackDown. I enjoyed the show. I was entertained for these 2 hours on a Friday night. Before we get into all of that, I do want to say thank you for joining me here. If you're watching live, twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, or if you're watching and listening later, whether that is youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, or podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Anchor, iHeartRadio, Google Pod, Apple Pod, and so much more. If you are watching live on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can either help us out by hitting that donate button down below, or by donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel one of 2 different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription, or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime, because remember, if you or you know someone that has Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. All you got to do is take that Amazon Prime account, you take that Twitch account, you link them together, bada bing, bada boom, you're Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things like free games, One of the free games. Let's see. What are the free games you get right now? The free games you get right now are Maniac Mansion. You get. Why is it not showing me the free games? For some reason, it's not showing me all the free games here on Twitch. But you also get free stuff for games, just like Valorant, Pokemon Go, Apex Legends, FIFA 22, Hearthstone, League of Legends, Fall Guys, and so much more. Ooh, I need to claim this Fall Guy. Fall Guys baseball, man. Oh, I need to claim that right now. Let's claim that right now. Boom, boom, boom. Claimed, got it. Now my guy's got a baseball mitt. Anyways, got a little sidetracked there. But remember, you also get one free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month, and I'd greatly appreciate it. Well, if you would subscribe right here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Also, remember, you can support us over on YouTube by hitting that join button and becoming a channel member. As a channel member, you get early access to news, early access to podcast episodes, early access to non-news videos, and so much more. Bangs, we should play tonight. Bang says we got to run some Fall Guys again soon. We should play some Fall Guys tonight. Start it off with Fall Guys, then run into Fortnite. We should do it tonight after this review. I'll hit you up or hit me up, whichever works. Remember, you can also get all of them same perks by heading over to patreon.com/pro wrestling or /PW Unlimited. Not only are you getting everything in just one concise area on Patreon, but you're also supporting us more directly because, well, YouTube ain't taking their cut. And finally, head over to the Epic Games Store. Head over to the Epic Games Store and buy something, whether that is a new game, whether that is an old game, whether that is getting bucks for Fall Guys, Rocket League, or Fortnite, or you're claiming one of them free games on the Epic Games Store. They will ask you all different kinds of ways if you've got a code, creator code, and you do. PW Unlimited. Use creator code PW Unlimited at checkout to directly support us here at Pro Wrestling Unlimited. And, well, it doesn't cost you anything extra. Type that little code in. Type those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 letters? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11 letters. Doesn't take you much to type in those 11 letters. But with that, we've got Friday Night Smackdown to talk about that kicked off with the new chairwoman of the board and co-CEO, Stephanie McMahon. Yet, interestingly enough, they didn't mention her as either. Whenever Vince would come on the show, they would say, "Ladies and gentlemen, the chairman of the board and the CEO of WWE, Vince McMahon." Or they would just say, "Mr. McMahon." But no, tonight, Samantha Irvin just said, "Ladies and gentlemen, Stephanie McMahon." And I'm like, oh, no mention of co-CEO and chairwoman of the board. Then the graphic pops up on the screen, and it just says Stephanie McMahon. No mention co-CEO and chairwoman. So I'm just like, man, already with the disrespect in her own company. In her own company. Come on. So Stephanie was in the ring as the show started. She welcomed everybody and got a little emotional, speaking of Vince's retirement. When she said, "My father, Vince McMahon, has retired," fans booed loudly, like loud. Then they started chanting, "Thank you, Vince. Thank you, Vince." And Stephanie goes, whoa, hold on, wait. I'm going to get to that. Give me a second. So the fans calm down, and Stephanie starts going on, talking about Vince and everything, and she says that we couldn't have done what we've done and my family has done without the fans. But now I just want to say to my father, to Vince, thank you, Vince. Everybody, let's go. And the fans, "Thank you, Vince. Thank you, Vince. Thank you, Vince." And Stephanie gets emotional, looks right into the camera and goes, mouths, "I love you, Dad." So that's how SmackDown starts off. Michael Cole and Pat McAfee didn't mention any of this, though, any of Vince retiring. Only Cole mentioned that tonight is an historic night in the WWE. Out would then come the Street Profits. Okay segment here to open up after the Stephanie thing, which you could say Stephanie opened the show, but this is the real true first segment of the night. So this is typical, Street Profits came out. They got a big pop. They came out through the crowd, which was cool to see. Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford mentioned challenging for the unified SmackDown and Raw Tag Team Championships at SummerSlam, and they promised, well, they're going to take the titles when Theory would interrupt. Theory claimed that nobody cares about the Street Profits, and he promised that he would be cashing in the Money in the Bank briefcase and doesn't care if it's on Roman or Brock Lesnar. The Usos made their way to the ring and were furious that Theory mentioned Roman's name. The Street Profits laughed at Theory. They mocked Theory and Ford as well and said that, you and your wife, both going to walk out without titles. Just saying. Theory said that was. Ford said, I'd heard enough, and they all started brawling when Madcap Moss would run out to even up the odds. Babyfaces cleared the ring. Dawkins hit a huge dive onto the Usos in Theory to end the segment. So I'm sitting here going, so we're not getting an immediate six-man tag? What's going on? And then they eventually do announce six-man tag, Madcap and the Street Profits against Theory and the Usos, even though the Usos don't like Theory. The recap, Shinsuke Nakamura defeating Ludwig Kaiser a couple weeks ago, and then Gunther chopping him for losing. We then had a rematch of that match that went 9.5 minutes. Ludwig versus Nakamura. I thought the match was actually really good. I really liked that they gave Ludwig a lot in this match. It wasn't just Nakamura steamroll, ran over him, Ludwig loses. No, Ludwig looked like a 100% equal to Shinsuke Nakamura. So Kaiser had the early advantage as he beat down Nakamura. Nakamura did fight back and hit a knee for a near fall. Kaiser recovered after Gunther yelled at him. Kaiser then hit a running knee and got a 2 off of it. Fans broke out in a Nakamura chant. Nakamura hit a running knee in the corner, sending Kaiser to the floor. Gunther yelled at Kaiser again to get him motivated. Kaiser grabbed Nakamura's leg and dropped him on the apron. He then set Nakamura into the ring post. Back from a commercial break, Kaiser was firmly in control. Nakamura recovered and caught Kaiser with an enziguri. He followed this up with a running knee and a sliding German suplex using the ropes. Kaiser rolled to ringside and Gunther continued to yell at him. Nakamura threw Kaiser back in the ring, but Gunther got in his face. Kaiser caught Nakamura with a small package. Nakamura regained control and set it for a Kinshasa. Gunther then caused a distraction and Kaiser rolled him up. The finish of the match then came when Kaiser sent Nakamura into the ropes and Gunther punched Nakamura and Kaiser hit a DDT to pick up the win. So Kaiser beats Nakamura, but not without the help of Gunther. And let me go into my settings here. We're having a little bit of a choppiness issue with the video. Let's lower my settings a little bit, see if that helps. All right, let's see if that helps the video. Also, remember, guys, if for some reason my internet goes out or the video on Twitch is running choppy, the video will always go up on YouTube directly after within the next 5 to 10 minutes. So after the match, Kaiser thought he was going to get praised by Gunther for winning the match. And Gunther told him, hands down. I think is what he says, hands down. And he's like, oh, you're going to chop me, you're going to chop me. And Gunther puts his hand on his shoulder and he's like, oh, you did good. So he's like, okay. And he does the thing again. And then, boom, chop to the chest. So in the back, SmackDown Women's Champion Liv Morgan and Ronda Rousey were getting mic'd up for their face-to-face segment. We go to break, we come back, and this was all right. This is all right. Not bad, not great. Kept it short, and they kept it backstage, which is very weird as well. In the back, Kayla Braxton introduced both Morgan and Rousey. Rousey sent Braxton away and got in Morgan's face. Rousey praised Morgan and promised to win the title back. Fans booed. Rousey expects Morgan to shake her hand after she loses on a week from tomorrow. Morgan promised to retain her title and beat Rousey yet again. Fans cheered. So then we got a great segment here with Pat McAfee and Corbin. And for anybody that says, it's Pat McAfee and Corbin, no, that shit's been good. And I expect the match to be pretty good as well. So ringside, Pat McAfee and Michael Cole are discussing the upcoming title match between Ronda Rousey and Liv Morgan when all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Corbin, Happy Corbin, attacks Pat. Michael Cole jumps out of his chair and he's yelling at Corbin, "Hey, calm down. What's going on? What are you doing? Don't do that. Leave him alone. He's doing his job." And so Corbin goes to walk off. McAfee gets to his feet. He looks over at Cole. He looks down the ramp where Corbin is, and he bolts, and he runs. And Corbin runs to the back, but Pat don't stop. Pat starts chasing him. Pat chases him through Gorilla. Pat goes through the curtain that goes from Gorilla to backstage. Chair comes waffling in. Pat ducks. He hits the wall. Pat then grabs Corbin and pops him up against this mirror. They start waffling each other before officials break it all up. Adam Pearce is yelling, "Get him out of here, get him out of here," as far as Corbin does go. Back from the break, Cole discussed Corbin's attack. They recap the angle, and McAfee would walk back down to the ring, and the crowd's just going, "McAfee, McAfee, McAfee." He grabbed a mic and said, "Before I go over and sit down next to the dope Michael Cole, I just want to say that I'm going to really, really enjoy beating bum-ass Corbin's ass at SummerSlam." He said that Corbin can't make any excuses. He can't attack him from behind. He can't blindside him come SummerSlam. McAfee said he was furious and promised to beat Corbin at SummerSlam. He then returned to commentary for the rest of the night and was all good. All good. Next up, they recapped the Viking Raiders and the New Day feud. We had the new vicious Viking Raiders take on Jinder Mahal and Shanky in a 1.5-minute match that was not good. New Day was on commentary, and Woods was wearing a unicorn mask. And not just like one of those, like, we're going to slip it over our face. No, it was a full-on, like, head mask, like, covered the whole head. This was not good, though. New Day, like I said, were on commentary. Mahal was briefly in control early with a kick to the head. Ivar fought back and sent Mahal to the floor. They brawled around ringside until Ivar tossed Mahal into the New Day and jumped back in the ring. Excuse me. Jumped back in the ring. Mahal then got counted out, and there we go. In the back, Sonya Deville approached Adam Pearce. Deville mocked Pearce for everything going wrong, including Lacy Evans walking out of her matches last week and the week before. Pearce then said, "Hey, you want to talk about matches? You got a match. It's you versus Raquel Rodriguez tonight." So the Brawling Brutes would make their way down to the ring. We had a pretty good segment. Not great, but pretty good segment to hype up and build up to whatever this Drew Sheamus stuff is going to be. They say we're getting a match next week on SmackDown. I'll believe it when I see it. I still think this match takes place at SummerSlam. So Sheamus noted that he planned on beating Drew McIntyre tonight to earn a title shot at Clash at the Castle. However, Sheamus demanded that McIntyre not bring the sword to the ring. Sheamus showed footage of McIntyre cutting the top rope with the sword 2 weeks ago. McIntyre's music hits, makes his way down to the ring. Sheamus said that Butch and Ridge Holland need to get gone. He sends him out of the ring. McIntyre wondered what happened to Sheamus' passion. He noted that one of them should be challenging for the title at Clash at the Castle. McIntyre added that the current champion is holding the 2 titles hostage. He said that the only option isn't any better, though. McIntyre demanded a match with Sheamus to finally figure out who gets the title shot. Sheamus teased accepting the match tonight and then goes, "Well, yeah, I'll fight you, but not tonight. Not tonight. Instead, I'm going to challenge you to a good old-fashioned Irish Donnybrook." He said, "But your sword is banned. But in a Donnybrook, everything else is allowed, including these." And he lifts up the tablecloth on the table to show a bunch of shillelaghs. Drew then goes, "Well, if this is the only way I get the match, then I accept." Sheamus then goes, "Well, great. Adam, hey, Adam Pearce, come down and make it official, please. Come on, come make it official. You can get your butt out here." So Adam Pearce comes out and goes, "Well, sure. If that's what we need to do, then next week, Sheamus, Drew, you guys will, well, have a good old Donnybrook next week with #1 contendership." Sheamus has got one of them shillelaghs in his hand, and he points it at McIntyre. He then turns and points it over at the ropes, and McIntyre grabs the sword and breaks the shillelagh in half. He then raises his arm up. The cane pyro goes off, and there we go. There we go. K Ballard, it was not a swerve. Get out of here with that bull crap. In the back, Paul Heyman approached the Usos. Usos were angry that they have to team with Theory tonight. Heyman told them to use Theory to their advantage to win the 6-man tag team match. After the match, leave him laying face down. That way, he can't cash in at SummerSlam. Next up, we had a almost 4-minute match. It was Raquel Rodriguez and Sonya Deville. Match wasn't bad. It was just an average SmackDown match, to be honest. Rodriguez dominated Deville early and toyed with her a little as well. Deville took over with a back elbow. She slowed the pace down, but Rodriguez broke free of the chin lock. Rodriguez hit a fall-away slam and a corkscrew elbow for a 2. Deville attempted a DDT. Rodriguez held on and tossed Deville across the ring. Rodriguez missed a tackle in the corner, and Deville hit a DDT for a near fall. Deville hit a series of kicks until Rodriguez hit a powerbomb for the victory. So Raquel Rodriguez does defeat Sonya Deville here. They then showed Usos versus Street Profits video package for SummerSlam. Really good video. I enjoyed it. Lacy Evans then came out. She was supposed to have another match with Aaliyah, but it didn't happen. It didn't happen. Evans slowly walked to the ring. She grabbed the mic and mocked the fans. She says she's not surprised that Tom Brady left this city. The fans erupted in boos. Evans added that nobody in Boston accomplished anything. She noted that there wasn't a person in this building that can walk a mile in her shoes. Aaliyah tried to get in Evans' face, but Evans demanded the fans' respect. Suddenly, Evans would just rock Aaliyah with the woman's right hand, and the segment ended. That was it. It was over. That was it. That was it. Nothing special. Nothing happened. No match. Third time we're supposed to get the match. Match don't happen. So in the back, Caleb Braxton interviewed Jeff Jarrett, the referee for the unified SmackDown and Raw tag team title match come SummerSlam. Also, one of Ric Flair's opponents the next night. Jarrett said that he's honored to be the special referee at SummerSlam and hinted that the Usos and the Street Profits tried to bribe him. Jarrett added that nobody can sway him and called the Usos vs. Street Profits the greatest tag team match in history. I don't know if I'd go that far. Great match, though. One of the best matches so far in 2022, though. But it's just funny that Jarrett's out here on SmackDown being a babyface, right? Yet, we saw the video. He fucking beat the shit out of Ric Flair. He left him bloody for dead. We got our main event. The Usos made their way down to the ring, but then we cut to the back, and we finally get the reveal of Maxine Dupree, who was with Maximum Male Models Marseille and Mansoir. She mentioned her brother, Max Dupree, but also noted that he wasn't there. Maximum Male Models next week will debut their beachwear line. I don't know why Dupree wasn't there. Well, Max Dupree. We heard earlier in the day that he wasn't backstage, so, whatever. So this is the former Sophia Cromwell, who, if you watched NXT recently, you would see she was with Robert Stone and Von Wagner. So then we get an almost 17-minute match. It's Madcap Moss and the Street Profits against Theory and the Usos, and the match ends in a DQ. D-frickin-Q. I thought the match itself was really good, but just had that weak-ass finish. So, before the match even begins, the Usos are arguing with Theory. The Usos were still upset that they had a team with him because they don't like him. Street Profits had the early advantage, and they sent the Usos to the floor with some drop kicks. Moss and then knocked Theory off the apron and as we went to a commercial break. Back from said commercial break, they took over and backed Moss into the corner. He slowed the pace down and isolated Moss and on the heel side of the ring. Dawkins then got a tag eventually and ran wild. Jay caught Dawkins with a super kick, who stumbled out of the ring. Ford tagged in and caught Jay with the flying crossbody for a near fall. The heels then recovered and beat down Ford. Jimmy grabbed Ford and tossed him over the barricade. Back from another break, the heels were firmly in control. Jay knocked Dawkins off the apron with a super kick. Moss then tagged in and ran wild. He caught Theory with a fallaway slam and a tackle to Jay in the corner. Jimmy would, though, rock Moss with a super kick and get a close near fall off of it. He tried to tag Theory, but he backed off. Theory then jumped off the apron and started to leave. Jay cut Theory off and hit him with a super kick before beating him down. Street Profits and the Usos fought at ringside. Dawkins hit a huge dive, wiping out Ford and the Usos. Theory then didn't leave after all and got back into the match. In the ring, Theory scored a near fall on Moss. He set up for the A-Town down, but Moss slipped out. Moss caught Theory with a tackle. He went for a second tackle, but Theory hit him with the briefcase to cause the disqualification. They actually had to do the spot twice, though, because Theory couldn't get the briefcase in time on the first attempt. After the match, though, Theory's hitting him with the briefcase, and all of a sudden, Brock Lesnar's music hits, and Brock makes his way out to the ring. Very subtly, we hear Pat, Cole, I thought, well, he, and Cole goes, me too, Pat. I thought he, wasn't as well. And I'm like, oh, I love it. I love that they're playing it up. The real life incident of Brock Lesnar walking out. Brock Lesnar makes his way out to the ring, comes in, he kicks Theory in the gut and gives him an F5 on the briefcase. Then gives him a second F5 on the briefcase. Lesnar then posed in the ring over Theory as the show goes off the air. So, in all actuality, Paul Heyman got what he wanted. Somebody beating down Theory and leaving him face first in the ring at the end of the show. So, it was Brock that did the bidding, but Heyman got what he wanted in the end, which is very interesting. Very interesting if we look at it that way. But with that, guys, that was Friday Night Smackdown. I felt like Smackdown itself was a pretty good show. Not great or anything, but I thought it was a good show overall. Hey, Ballard, he was not kept a secret. The guy actually left and then came back. Can you not wrap that around your brain that someone can get mad, leave, either cool down or get talked down, and then come back and do their job? Trust me, I can tell you plenty of personal experiences of stuff like this happening. To me specifically, trust me, when I was younger, I used to have a little bit of a temper. I'd storm off from things, but then eventually come back. Trust me. It happens. People get upset. People get mad. They leave a situation. They leave a place because they're so mad. But then, a couple hours later, they calm down. They cool down. Better heads, cooler heads prevail. They come back and they do what they're supposed to do. But with that, guys, that was Friday Night Smackdown. You know what I thought of the show. Now I want to know what you guys thought of tonight's Smackdown. Remember, you guys can let me know by texting into 510-906-1341. Again, that's 510-906-1341. As far as the polls do go first, we're going to check them polls first. Twitch poll, 90% liked tonight's Smackdown, with 10% thinking it was just all right. As far as the Twitter poll does go, and I don't know why there we go, Twitter poll, 70% liked tonight's Smackdown, and 30% thought Smackdown was just all right. And as far as the YouTube community poll does go, 49% liked the show, 38% thought it was just all right, and 13% did not like Smackdown. Some of the comments here, I liked tonight's Smackdown. It was mostly all right until Brock Lesnar murdered Theory. It was cool for what it was. Okay, that's a weird comment. And the person says, "Cause Smackdown just boring like every week." I mean, you're proud of your own opinion. As far as the text messages do go, it says, "Thank you for the WWE updates and the AEW updates." Well, text message person, you're welcome. Thank you for the support. First says, "What are your thoughts on Vince McMahon retiring?" I'm actually, after we get through this, I'm going to go through and do a quick recap of all the Vince news. So I will get into that. Says, I seen that WWE released a new Brock Lesnar action figure with both belts with it. Could that be a spoiler for what will happen at SummerSlam? Also, do you think Paul Heyman or Triple H should become the new head of creative? So as far as the action figure does go, I saw it. I didn't say anything about it because I have no clue. Maybe it's a spoiler, maybe it's not. But if I put out a report and go, oh, I think this is a spoiler, and then it's not, then I look dumb. But then if I say, I don't think this is a spoiler, and then it was, then I also look dumb. I'm damned if I do, I'm damned if I don't. I got no sources telling me either way, so I just didn't even say anything about it. I mean, cool. It's a picture, or it's a title, or it's a figure of Brock, and he's got both a black and a blue title in the case, or in the box. Says, with Vince gone, do you think Roman will lose the Undisputed Championship soon with the possibility of WWE becoming TV 14 after SummerSlam? What does TV 14 have to do with Roman losing the belt, though? I don't understand that at all. I don't understand why Roman has to lose the belt for the show going TV 14. If the plan is still to possibly get The Rock next year, keep that title on Roman as long as you can. Says, do you see WWE bringing SmackDown back to Rolling Loud? Wasn't Rolling Loud like right now? Wasn't Rolling Loud like this weekend? It didn't happen, so I mean, unless I know there's multiple Rolling Loud festivals throughout the year, but wasn't there a Rolling Loud like this weekend? Yeah, Rolling Loud Miami that they did last year is tonight. So if they're gonna do Rolling Loud Miami, they needed to be there today, and they didn't do it, so just saying. Just saying. I mean, I think they're going to be in New York in September, but I think they would have announced it by now. And I think they would have done the Miami one just like they did last year. But with that, that is everything regarding tonight's Friday Night SmackDown. But as far as the Vince McMahon news does go, so this afternoon, a little after 4 p.m. East Coast time, a tweet came out from the Vince McMahon Twitter stating basically, I'm 77, it's time for me to retire, now then forever together. And the internet goes freaking nuts. They go crazy. Oh my God, what's going on? Vince is retired. We then get some news that, Vince is retired. Vince is not at SmackDown. Vince wasn't at SmackDown last week, and there's a reason why. Apparently, this decision of Vince to retire was actually something that he privately agreed upon and came up on the decision of a week ago. According to Mike Johnson of PWU Insider, that a week ago, Vince actually came to the decision of, I'm going to retire. Which is very interesting. I heard something on Monday that big Vince news from the company may drop this week. And this is what it was. But I only heard that from one source. And if you only have one source on something that big, you don't run with it. You just sit on it and go, okay, I'll wait if somebody else says something. Because honestly, if I'm going to be completely honest with you guys, I've got two sources within WWE. I'll just say it right now. I'm not going to tell you who they are. I've got two sources within WWE. People that kind of three, but one guy works for the company but never hears anything. Like I have two sources and I know a guy. The one guy I know never hears or gets told anything. But the two sources, only one of them had told me, hey, some big Vince news may be breaking from the company. It wasn't that, a new story's coming out. No, something from the company may be coming out. But I sat on it and didn't say anything, didn't do nothing, because it's like one source, you can't validate one source. You need multiple sources. You need multiple people telling you something to make it a valid source with proof. If you have multiple sources telling you something, that's enough proof for you to then report it. But, so we hear from Mike Johnson of PWU Insider that last week, Vince actually said, I'm going to retire to people privately in his inner circle. Then today, after the news and the tweet comes out, WWE puts out a press release in Vince McMahon's words. I don't know if they actually are or not, but Vince, in that, thanks the fans and everything and this and that, but then says that we are leaving our company in good hands because we have a new chairwoman in Stephanie McMahon and new co-CEOs in Stephanie McMahon and Nick Khan. So they are co-CEOs, and Stephanie is chairwoman of the board. Vince did state that he is retaining his majority as far as stockholder does go, majority stockholder position. But everything else, Vince is no longer. He's no longer on the board as far as we know. He's no longer running creative. He's no longer running the business ends of things, which he hasn't been for over a year anyways. Nick Khan has been. So it's just like, okay, all of that happens. And then we get the news of Brock walking out and this and that. And, someone tried to report, Brock came back before SmackDown, but things had already been changed. And then Brock showed up on SmackDown. But as far as the Vince stuff does go, if you would have told me 6 months ago, 2022, Vince McMahon's going to retire, I would have laughed your ass out the building. I would have been like, where are you hearing that from, you dummy? You would have told me that 2 months ago? Oh, yeah, that's very possible. Very, 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 very possible. So we don't know why the decision came now. Because when that first Wall Street Journal report came out, the news was that Vince laughed it off, basically, and told people backstage, fuck them. And when the second story came out, Vince kind of pulled back a little bit, but not as much. And then now we get the news of today. Vince McMahon has officially retired from WWE and all of his positions. Other than, again, majority stockholder. He's still majority stockholder. So, again, I think we'll learn a lot of stuff over the next couple of days of what this is all going to mean. Who's in charge of creative? Who's going to be running the day-to-day operations? Who's actually the final say of Raw? Who's the final say of SmackDown? Who's literally in charge of SummerSlam next week? What's Kevin Dunn's future? Many do now feel that Kevin Dunn is the next to go. First, it was Johnny Ace. Then Vince retires. Kevin Dunn ain't got his safety net no more. Triple H and Stephanie, it's been known for a while that they don't like Kevin Dunn. He could be the next one to go of Vince's little inner circle. Now, you may say, well, Bruce is in that inner circle. Is Bruce going to be gone too? Not necessarily, because people like Bruce. People like Bruce. People just always dogged on Bruce for being a Vince yes man. But majority, from what I have heard in different reports and whatnot, like Bruce. So as long as Bruce wants to stick around, I don't see why he wouldn't. McMahon says, wouldn't Bruce be head of creative? Possibly, but that's not known for sure. Because what if there's somebody else that they have in mind for that role? I don't think it's going to be Triple H with him taking the head of talent relations role today, or at least announcing that today. I don't think that would be Triple H. I mean, what do? They go to Paul Heyman and say, Paul, you want to run this company creative? Maybe Jeff Jarrett. Back in the day in TNA, when Jeff Jarrett wasn't booking himself, he booked a lot of great things in that company. Jeff Jarrett, when he wasn't putting himself over, booked a lot of just great storylines that got me to love that company. Early TNA, from 2002 to 2007, I loved the company. And Jeff Jarrett was, for the most part, booking. Well, I don't think he was in there. Oh, no, he was around for most of that time. He was in and out sometimes. But I don't know how Jeff Jarrett would do running WWE. TNA, that's one thing. But this big of a company, running creative for Raw and SmackDown and pay-per-views and all that other stuff, we'll have to wait and see. Again, I'm not going to jump to any assumptions and go, I think it's this person, or I know it's this person. There's a couple people it could be, and we don't have any true facts or, anything pointing towards one single particular person. But as far as everything does go, Vince, not going to be on the road anymore. Vince is retired. He's going to sit home. He's going to make a fat stack of cash every week, every month, every year. That's the other thing. Vince has got his stock in the company. Vince going to be making any other money from this company? I don't know. But that's all we got for you tonight. We talked SmackDown. Kind of talks what we know about WWE. McIntyre says, do you see Triple H bringing back Road Dogg? I don't think Road Dogg would come back. Maybe. But as much as he's talked crap on this company since he got released earlier this year, I don't know. I don't see it. Much crap as he's talked, I don't see it. Could be wrong on that, but I don't see it. He basically said, if Tony Khan wants me to sign and go work for them, I'll go work for them. He said it like he wants to go work for AEW. But with that, guys, honestly, thank you for joining me here. If you're watching live, twitch.tv/PW Unlimited. Or if you're watching or listening later on podcast services all around the globe, like Stitcher, Spotify, Anchor, iHeartRadio, Google Pod, Apple Pod, and so much more, or youtube.com/PW Unlimited. With that, guys, have a great rest of your Friday night. Have a great rest of your weekend, or have a great rest of your weekend coming up. I got an action-packed weekend. I'm busy all weekend. But with that, have a great night, and we'll see you next time. Have a good one, guys.